Hello, MGTOW. Hello, men. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. I want to talk about slut shaming and slut walks. And as many of you might know, this is a fairly new channel, so I get to go back and discuss things from the past, as if they're new, because I haven't had a chance to give my 2 cents. And I have done a lot of research on slut walks and sluts. I have stayed up well into the night, combing through thousands of pictures, magnifying, looking at them from different angles to discover, what's going on in this phenomenon. And this doesn't even count my extensive research prior, to my interest, in specifically this subject. There have been years of studying sluts. I've studied them socially, economically, politically. So I feel that I am qualified to speak on the subject of sluts. Thank you. So, slut shaming, what is it? According to the women, it is moral value judgments being placed upon them for their behavior, for their sexual behavior. Right? How dare we? How dare you? If she wants to sleep with 100 men, okay? All of them, maybe your friends, or the football team, or the basketball team. You should not look at that and then judge her. How dare you? If she wants to go and do a bukkake porn movie, okay, and just get covered in buckets of cum, and you're like, wow, that's kind of disgusting. No, you are not allowed to make those kind of decisions, So if your wife, your girlfriend, your daughter, wants to just do whatever she wants to do, if you judge that, if you're like, wow, I don't like that, you're out of line because it's her body and it's her choice. Because, hey, if a man were to go out and sleep with 100 women, everybody would be like, right on, man, way to go, you're a stud. Right? I mean, isn't that what you do when you know a guy like that? Yeah. So, on the surface, it seems a little self-absorbed and a little self-interested. And, that's what I thought, What a disgusting, moral display there. So when Lacey Green is standing there and saying that, that if a woman wants to sleep with 100 men, you shouldn't be judging her because when a man sleeps with 100 women, it's a good thing. And she thinks she's making social commentary. She's not. She's making a psychological confession, is what she's making. And I don't think that this escapes very many men. I think most men are aware of this, certainly on, various levels. That this is an attempt at evading moral responsibility. And no adult gets to do that. You're free, you can do what you want, and you have to pay for it. And there's no escaping that. And the only person who would want to escape that would be a sociopath who, for example, say you've got a neighborhood and you've got married couples in that neighborhood and they're raising children. So of course they're not American, but they're from another country and they're living in America and they're raising children, right? And a woman moves into the neighborhood and she's a slut. Well, I'm sure all those married women are just going to welcome her. And when, the slut says, hey, she's going to give out free blowjobs to all the married men, and they start, hanging out at her house, I'm sure none of the other women will be judging, because they know that it's wrong. So that the women would even be asking to be allowed to behave in this manner and then not be held accountable is shocking. And it speaks to female sense of entitlement and their low opinion of men and the way that they want to manipulate men using sexuality. And I'll be honest, to a large degree, right? Like I'm looking at a slut walk, right? Or women protesting, this capacity. And I'm really not thinking about what they're saying too much, because I am looking at, the fact that they're dressed up as a slut, and I'm thinking, well, this is a good thing. I like this. But of course, feminists know that. They know that the men are going to smile when they see, a bunch of women marching down the street, dressed up like sluts. They know that men are going to smile and say, well, let's let this one go. But what they're saying is, you don't get to morally judge us, so let me, what guy wants to be guy number 101, Who the hell wants that? And these women actually think that you'd be lucky under those circumstances, Well, it's like, look, I just don't want to get a disease, I just don't want to get a sexually transmitted disease, if that's okay. It's like, no, don't judge me. So, you want to get together with a woman who's been with 100 other men? I don't think any man wants, well, in this day and age, we've got all the maladaptive stuff going on. I'm sure that I'm sure some young men, would be hearing this and saying, hey man, Howard, it's wrong to, to shame the sluts because I might get to be the next guy and she looks really hot. And it's like, yeah, but if she then, commits a crime, like murder, right? The judge, the jury, the news broadcasters are going to be highly inclined to say, gee, I wonder what that man did to her to make her do that to him. And they're going to be like, well, they're not going to want to come down heavy on her. They don't want to judge her. So when women say don't slut shame us, they're saying don't morally judge us. Let us be above moral judgments. And the only person who would want that would be like a psychopathic child. You don't get to escape the consequences of your actions. See, even the request for this type of behavior, as I said, it's a psychological confession. It's not social commentary. It's not saying women are being treated unfairly because you judge them for their, sexual roles. I mean, if somebody comes to you and spits on you, okay, you going to judge that? Or how about if somebody comes to you and gives you $100? Are these two things the same? If you get together with somebody and they sleep with all of your friends and laugh at you, is that the same as if you get together with them and, they're an interesting person who you like hanging out with, who you admire, who, you just like being with, right? Are these two situations morally the same? Are they equivalent to anybody? How about a meal that's nutritious, tasty, healthy, reasonably priced, and will sustain you to the next meal, okay? Versus a pile of poison that will cost everything, Should we not judge these two? Should we not judge these two? Are these things not different? We live in a world, well, a lot of times people, especially women and children, they engage in this magical thinking where they just want what they want and they're just going to pitch a fit until they get it. And there are some underlying principles that are going on here. You know what I mean? As I said, it's psychological confession, not social commentary. And at its base, at its heart, it is that magical thinking. It is, that we don't have to adapt ourselves to the laws of reality. We can just complain. and make reality adapt to us. And it is a violation of, the most basic law of identity, which Ayn Rand states as A is A. A thing is the thing. It's not, an apple is an apple. An apple is not an orange. Reality is reality. The physical world is the physical world. And I'm sure many of you are thinking, come on, Howard, shut up. We know this. No, a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people in this society think that A can be B. Because who are you to judge, man? And if I want A to be B, that's my choice, man. That's my choice. My body, my choice. So I can be anything I want. And I can do anything I want. So a lot of people think like that. And women foster this sort of mindset. So let me talk about the slut, walk, right? Because what's good for the individual woman must be great for the groups of women. Now, I have never participated. I have never had the honor of participating in a slut walk or seeing one. As I said, I just check out the pictures online. So I imagine that, a slut walk is announced in a particular area through feminist channels. And no doubt they are going to the schools, to the college campuses, and just the college campuses, and saying, hey, there's going to be this slut walk. This is the idea behind it. Women should not be judged. It's unfair that women are judged in society. Dress up like a slut. Please come participate. Bring your own signs, or signs will be made available. I'd like to do a video just studying some of those signs because some of them are just so funny. So the women are all excited, right? They're like, yeah, there's going to be a slut walk. So they go and they dress up like sluts, right? Or they dress down like sluts. And they're like, we're doing this to make a statement socially. And, it looks like they really enjoy it, dressing up like sluts, which is funny because I always thought they were like vestal virgins, I always thought they were like, brides in their white dresses. But it turns out that these women just love to dress up like sluts. Don't judge. Don't judge. That's what this is all about. So, off they go. They get in their slutty clothes, they put on their slutty makeup, and they run out into the streets, and they get in the group, and they start screaming and shaking their fists and shaking their signs. And I guess when the men are like looking at them and like with bug out, their eyes bugged out, I guess the women are like, you bastard, you son of a bitch, we hate you, man. How dare you? And I guess when the men are just like, like ignoring them, they're like, you bastard, you son of a bitch, how dare you, we hate you. Don't judge us. Very liberating, huh? And as I said, I've done extensive research, and the sluts walking around, and they are really quite bold and shameless, aren't they? Yeah, they are. Kind of makes you wonder where they get that kind of confidence, you know what I mean? They're not like, walking around in their bikinis and, looking around and holding up their sign. No, they are marching and they are screaming and they are confrontational. They will confront anybody. Yeah, because they're angry, they're upset, They don't like the idea that anybody is going to judge them. And as I said, it's the site, it's trying to evade moral value judgments. And sexuality is men will, you can bypass the man's mind, the man's rational mind, if they use the sexuality, and the feminists know that. So they dress up the women and they hold out these signs, and the women scream and yell, and some of the men look and some of the men don't look. And it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what the man thinks, what he does. This is an attempt on the part of the females to evade moral responsibility and moral judgments. And nobody gets to do that. No adult gets to do that. No responsible human being gets to do that. Would you want to work with somebody or interact with somebody upon whom no moral judgment can come down? They can do anything they want and nobody's going to judge them? What a frightening prospect. Anyway, that's my summary of slut shaming and slut walks for now. Please let me know what you think in the comments section below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. I appreciate it. Please come by again. I hope to have more content for you at that time. Thank you, MGTOW.